Hello everyone, this is Faith from faithspaceacademy.com. In this particular video, we will be going through the Canva terms of use. If you have been watching several of my other YouTube videos, you would know that I'm a big fan of using Canva to create different products, including printables. Now, this is why it is very important for you to understand the exact licensing terms for Canva so that you can use Canva safely to grow your online business. Ready? Let's get started. Now, as we start to understand the Canva terms of use, let's first focus on these two terms, user content versus licensed content. I'm just going to open up the actual Canvas page where it has all its terms of use stated specifically. Okay, so it's actually canva.com/policies/terms-of-use/. Okay, so like I mentioned, we want to focus on the two terms content licensing as well as licensed content. So here, user content, it basically means that it refers to whatever content that you have actually uploaded onto Canva. So if you are actually uploading content to Canva, you want to be sure that you own the commercial use rights, right? So for example, if like typically when I purchase commercial use graphics, I go to sites like prettygraphic.com as well as creativefabrica.com. So I purchased those commercial use graphics, which allow me to use those graphics to design products that I can sell or I can give away. Okay. So when I upload those graphics onto Canva, I am certain that I own the rights to do so. So that refers to user content, the content that you upload to Canva. Now, the other term is licensed content. So licensed content actually refers to things, elements, graphics, stock images that are found on Canva itself that's provided for you by Canva. Okay, so that's the tricky part actually, because further on the next couple of minutes, when we are going through the detailed licensing terms, we are all referring to Canva's licensed content, the content that Canva has provided for us. Now, the other thing I want to highlight to you is the Canva free account versus the Canva Pro account. Now, you are probably already aware that there are two different versions in a sense that you can actually start using Canva for free without any subscription fees. And of course, you also can choose to upgrade to the Canva Pro account version. Now, one big misconception is that people think that you can use the Canva Pro account and or elements to create products to sell, but you cannot use the Canva free account to do so. Now, what do I mean? I've got many people asking me, so if I want to create printables to sell and I'm going to use Canva, does it mean all I have to do is to sign up for a Canva Pro account and I can start using those elements? The answer is no. Okay, so it does not matter whether you're using the Canva free account or the Canva Pro account. Okay, what essentially matters is the elements that you use. How are you going to use the elements on Canva to actually create commercial use products? Okay, so that's the main thing. So once again, just to clarify, it does not matter whether you're using Canva Free or Canva Pro. Having Canva Pro does not automatically give you the rights to use all the elements for commercial use. Okay, you need to understand what it actually means. Is the elements that you're using that affects the commercial use license, right? And not the Canva Free or Canva Pro account. Okay, so it also means that you can still use a Canva Free account and still be able to create products to sell for commercial use. Okay, now here we are on the detailed content licensing terms. Now, if you were to plow through Canva's terms, of course, there are a lot more content on that. I just want to focus on some of the parts that I find the most important and most applicable if you are like me who use Canva to create products for sale. Like I said, I create digital planners, printables, templates to actually sell, right? So these are the parts of the terms of use that are most important in this situation. Now, we are focusing on free content licenses. So what do we mean? This actually refers to the content on Canva that you get for free. So we are essentially talking about the free elements. Okay, so just to illustrate, Now you see we're on our Canva dashboard, and you can see on the left hand side, we have these elements, right? So if you see anything that has a little crown and says Pro, this means that you would have to have the Canva Pro account in order to use these elements for free. If you only have the Canva free account and you use these elements, at the point of downloading, you would be required to actually pay for these elements before you can actually download your final product. Okay, so free content essentially refers to elements that are free. You do not need to pay additional sum to use those elements. Okay. So here, like you see, there's lines and shapes, or we can even just search for some, let's say, flowers. You will see that anything that I mouse over, these are free. But if I mouse over something like this, that's a little crown and the word pro, these means that these elements are paid elements or pro elements. Only if you have the Canva Pro account can you use these elements for free. Otherwise, you're expected to pay in order to download them in your final product. So back to free content licenses, how do you check for the license term for that element? It is to actually hover over the content and then clicking on the info icon. And if the free content comes from Pixabay, refer to Pixabay license. If the free content comes from Pexels, refer to Pexels license. If the free content is labeled CC0 or public domain, then please refer to the CC0 license or the source listed. And if isn't from Pixabay, Pexels, or CCO, then it is covered by free content. What these actually means is that Canva has actually sourced all the elements and graphics from different third-party sources. Okay, they have brought all of them onto Canva for our use. But in order to fully understand what we can use for each of these individual elements, we need to know where the source, where it actually came from. Okay, so how do we do that? So what you need to do is you mouse over the particular image like this one, and you click on the ellipse menu. And here it says free because it's a free element that you can use. And here you click on this info icon and you see that the license says you can use this in a Canva design for both personal and commercial use. You can also use this in your marketing or social media or sell merchandise without restrictions. However, you cannot sell, redistribute, or take credit for unaltered media, which means if you use it, you shouldn't be just downloading it and then just using it right away. You should actually make changes to it. You should actually be incorporating this element into a different final project that you're creating, and you cannot trademark designs. Okay, now you will also see that here it says view more by Alice from Alice as Images. So this is actually the name of the creator who designed this particular flower image. And if you need to understand the commercial use rights more, you should be clicking on to this to find out more about Alice and what all the other creations. Okay, so let's maybe just look for a stock photo under this photos. I want to see if, like this one, okay, ellipse menu, you will see this is Pink Flowers Photography, view more by Nathan from Pexels. Okay, so Pexels, if you're aware, Pexels actually allow you to grab free commercial use graphics. So you can actually use the images from Pexels for commercial use purposes. But once again, the main guideline is usually that you cannot use it to create a competing product. Okay, just to make sure we're illustrating this clearly, let's go to pexels.com. So here we are on the pexels.com website, and you can actually read the licensing terms. What is allowed? All photos and videos on Pexels are free to use. Attribution is not required, but giving credit to the photographer is very much appreciated. So you can modify the photos, be creative, and edit them as you like. What is not allowed? Using the people in a bad light or in a way that's offensive. Don't sell unaltered copies of a photo or video. Okay, so for example, if you're selling it as a poster, print, or a physical product, you should be modifying it first. Okay, don't sell without modifying it. So you can use the free stock photos to create something to sell, but you have to modify it first. Don't imply endorsement of a product by people or brands. And don't redistribute or sell the photos on other stock photos. So means definitely you cannot use the stock photos and then sell it on a competing stock photo website. All right, that's a big no-no. So back to Canva, what we just learned is that this particular Pink Flowers Photography, this particular image is created by or taken by Nathan and it was sourced from Pexels, which means since now that you know the source of this comes from Pexel, it also means that the Pexel licensing terms would then apply, which means you can use this image for commercial use purpose. You can use this image to create, let's say, a poster that you're going to sell and do all the designing on Canva. But of course, you're adding word art, you're adding different, other ways of designing to actually modify it before you sell the final product as, let's say, a poster. Okay, so yes, you can. So this actually means that you really need to be very careful of all the different elements on Canva itself. If you want to make sure you're using the elements correctly, that is the way to do it. You should be clicking on the ellipse menu and going to this info icon or looking at exactly where this image originated from, okay, which site. So if it's Pexels, click onto Pexels and read the licensing terms. If it's any other source, then read those licensing terms, okay? Now that we have covered the free content, we want to move our focus to pro content as well, okay? So here, this is a section on permitted uses of all content on Canva, except pro music. So we're looking at, let's say, once again, the graphics, the elements, and the stock photos, okay? I'm going to highlight to you some points right here. You can use content for pro elements. Pro elements, you can use them to create invitations, advertising, promotional projects, including printed materials, product packaging, presentations, film, video, commercials, brochures, greeting cards, postcards, okay? You can definitely use them for school and university projects. You can use them in a social media post or profile image, which means you can definitely use pro elements to actually create, let's say, your Instagram post or create a video for TikTok, or actually just create a profile photo and add it to Facebook or your website. You can also use pro elements to design templates solely for use on Canva. What does this mean? So whatever these elements that you use, you would have to bring people back to Canva. So if you're familiar with me and my products, I do sell editable Canva templates like planners, journals, and even branding templates, right? So I sell them as editable templates. And what my customers have to do is they have to sign back up or sign up a new Canva account. Basically, they have to come back to Canva in order to use those templates that I have created. Okay, so if you're actually bringing your customers back to Canva, then yes, you can use those pro elements. Okay, permitted uses for all content on Canva. If you're using pro elements and to create design templates that bring your customers back to Canva, yes, you can use both free and pro elements. However, I would strongly recommend that you avoid pro elements. Okay, so yes, you can use pro elements to create templates that bring your customers back to Canva. But my personal recommendation is that you don't do that. Why? Because not everyone has subscribed to the Canva Pro account, which means if you were to sell these editable templates and bring people back to Canva to use them, some of your customers are going to be just Canva free account users only. So imagine their frustration if they access your templates and they see tons of images that are watermarked and they're expected to pay for those elements when they download it. Okay, so this is more of thinking from the perspective of your customer, trying to make the whole user experience better for your customers. Okay, so personally, when I'm creating editable templates to sell to my customers, I avoid using pro content because so that they don't have to encounter the whole dilemma of, oh, what am I going to do? Should I be paying all these elements? Or if I have to replace them, then it's going to create a huge hassle for them. Then it really defeats the purpose of them purchasing the templates from me. Okay, so my personal recommendation when you're creating templates to sell, just use the free elements. Now, number 8, you can use pro elements to create prints, posters, i.e. hard copies, and other reproductions of personal or promotional purposes, resale license, or other distributions. So this is also very important, right? Prints and posters. So it's much easier to use these pro elements to create a final product which you are selling in a hard copy version. Okay, so for example, you're actually printing out as a physical planner to sell, or you're actually doing POD, you're actually printing out mugs and t-shirts. So you're selling a physical product. So then in that case, it is fine to use those pro elements, okay? Physical products, prints, hard copies, okay for pro elements. Now here, additional permitted use for free elements. So we're focusing back on free content again. Now, I want to bring your attention to point number 4, using the free content in design template applications intended for resale, whether online or not, including without limitation website templates, flash templates, business card templates, electronic greeting cards templates, and brochure design templates. Now, we are talking about 2 groups of templates right here. One was what I mentioned just now, templates that are for design on Canva, templates that you sell, for example, Canva pin templates, right? So in order for people to use the templates, they have to come back to Canva to use them. So those are Canva templates, design templates for Canva use, okay? Whereas the other group of templates, we're talking about website templates. For example, a landing page template that you can actually use for different websites, okay? And those, if they don't require people to come back to Canva, then that is the other group of templates, okay? So templates that require people to come back to Canva, templates that don't require people to come back to Canva. So now, which is why point number 4 is important. If you're creating templates that do not require people to come back to Canva, then you can only use free content for that. Okay? Once again, if you're using templates, selling templates that require people to come back to Canva, both free and pro elements are allowed. However, the personal recommendation from me is that you only use free elements just so that all the free Canva users can use those templates without worrying about the pro elements. The other set of templates, the templates that do not require you or do not require your customers to come back to Canva to use them, please make sure you do not use pro elements, okay? That has legal implications. Usage of pro elements for such templates that do not require people to come back to Canva do not allow you to use pro elements, okay? Now, I hope that we have got that clear. Now, if all these whole, all the words and all that sounds way too complicated for you, then my recommendation is that go for your own third-party sourced commercial use elements. If you find that it's too much of a hassle actually looking at all the little icons, trying to find out which where the source is actually from, like whatever graphic, whatever element, where is their original source, if all that is way too complex, complicating, time-consuming for you, then my recommendation is that go for third-party platforms where you fully understand the commercial use rights, right? For example, Creative Fabrica, it actually allows you to use all the fonts, graphics, digital papers, elements, SVG elements. You can use those to create products that you sell. Okay, so that means commercial use is allowed. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'm actually personally subscribed to the All Access Pass, and I love it because I can actually just download unlimited number of graphics, even fonts, and I can actually use those to create products that I sell. So that's commercial use license covered. So if you're interested, please watch until the end of the video where you can actually scan the QR code and go to this special offer that I'm getting from Creative Fabrica. Enjoy a $1 trial, okay? For just $1 for the first month, you can hop onto Creative Fabrica and download as many of those commercial use graphics as you like to really see how awesome that can help you in your business, okay? Now, the other platform is prettygraphic.com. Pretty Graphic also allows you to use their graphics, digital papers for commercial use. So I like these because I am familiar with these platforms and I know the commercial use rights, and then it's up to me to just grab them, upload to Canva, and then use them as and when I want it. So it really reduces the hassle of checking through every single element on Canva to make sure I'm using it correctly based on the original source's commercial use license. Okay. Now, I want to bring your attention back to this page. This is a pretty new page on Canva, canva.com/licensing-explained. Okay, so I love this page because I think they've broken it down into more simplistic manner on what can or cannot be done. So here, differences between free and pro, basically the Canva content can either be free or pro, like we have mentioned just now. You can use free content at no cost. Okay, but if you're a free user, you will see the watermark on the pro content. Okay, and then you can remove this watermark by buying a license to use in that design for $1 or subscribing to Canva Pro. So once again, difference between free and pro content is just whether you can use it for free or you have to pay for it before you use it. Now, pro content license, for free users, you have to pay $1 to use a piece of pro content in design. This grants you the pro content license, and then you need to pay to use the same piece of content in different designs. Okay, so this is also why I would strongly recommend, if you're using Canva often enough, then I think it totally makes sense to actually subscribe to Canva Pro account. Okay, then you can use more pro elements. The times when I use pro elements is when I use them to create like product banners, social media images. It allows me to have a more variety of elements and graphics that I can use, and I love using those for marketing for my website. Now, what is allowed? You can use our content for a wide range of personal as well as commercial use. You can use content in marketing, social media, or even sell merchandise. Okay, so selling merchandise refers to the physical products, the hard copy that we were saying. Now, but you do not resell, redistribute, or take credit for content provided through Canva. You cannot just say that, oh, I have this, I download the stock image and I'm the creator for the stock image. No, you're not supposed to do that. Here, using content in your designs like this one, you shouldn't be just using it as a standalone media. For example, this one's a stock image. If you were to use it on your website, for example, you should be making changes to it, right? Like adding words or adding filters or adding other elements. Okay, so you should be creating something unique. Okay, so standalone content cannot be printed on products for merchandise or sale. So if you want to use, like you love this particular stock image and you want to use it on a t-shirt or on a mug as a print on demand product, then please do make changes to it before you actually do that. Trademarks and logos. One important thing to note that is you should not be using any of the graphics provided on Canva to create your trademarks or your logos. But what you can do, of course, you can use the fonts. You can use simple shapes like this. It's just making use of circles, shapes, and lines to create a logo. Then that is allowed. But if this is actually a graphic or an element that is provided as is from Canva, you shouldn't be using that to create. Okay, so yes, use basic shapes and lines to create your logo. That is totally allowed. Now, selling templates, unless it's a template created for use on Canva, you can use the pro content in templates of any nature, like what we mentioned just now. If you're bringing your customers back to Canva to use those templates, yes, free and Canva Pro elements are allowed. If you're not, then please do not use the pro content. And so that's it for this. So I'm going to add all the links to all the different Canva terms as well in the video description below. And I'm also going to give you access to the $1 trial for Creative Fabrica. And if you want to take a look at prettygraphic.com, please also check out my video description, and then you can have access to that as well. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you will like this video, subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more useful Canva tutorials ahead. And if you have any other questions with regards to Canva terms or anything about Canva, please feel free to leave in the comment section below, and I will address them personally as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you around.